There are 3 simple steps that will take you from constantly losing control of your emotions to being cool, collected, rational, and in full control. These steps will stop you from lashing out, ruining relationships, and letting your ego-driven monkey brain dictate your decisions. Instead, you'll be able to stay cool, calm, and collected so you can make logical decisions that actually help you grow. I want to start this with a story from Abraham Lincoln. So obviously one of the presidents, did a bunch of cool shit in his life, accomplished a lot, but in his early years, he was talking shit to this other guy in politics in a newspaper. And that guy got really mad. And so he challenged him to a duel, because duels were still a thing back then. A duel means that you're gonna meet up, you're gonna use a weapon of choice, and you're gonna try to kill each other. And so he realized that the reason he was in that situation was because he was allowing his emotions get the best of him, and for him to start talking shit to this other person where he was gaining nothing out of it. So there's a quote that I wanna read by Abraham Lincoln, where he said, "When emotions run high, express them privately, but wait before acting. Cool heads make better decisions." Right? So how can you become more emotionally regulated? Well, there's really 3 steps to getting to that point. So step number 1 is awareness. What I mean by awareness is you need to bring awareness the second you get triggered. And that trigger could be any sort of emotion. For now, we're going to talk about negative emotions, but it could also be positive emotions. But in reality, if you feel angry, humiliated, whatever it is, you need to bring awareness to that emotion the second it happens before you react in any way, shape, or form. And what I tend to do is I'll pull up my phone, I'll open the notes app, and I'll start writing down the emotion I felt in that moment. Let's say you're super pissed off at someone because you just got in a really heated argument, or someone tried to belittle you in front of a bunch of people, and so you feel either anger or humiliation or whatever it may be. Immediately open your phone, go to the notes app, and start writing the emotion that you feel. Right? I feel humiliated right now. I feel angry. And from there, we go into step 2. So step 2 is reflection. And what I mean by reflection is writing down the objective facts of what happened. So we're separating facts and emotions, right? Because emotions will get the best of us and it'll actually skew the perception of what actually ended up happening. So I want to write objective facts of what happened. So instead of saying Kyle is a piece of shit, I can say Kyle disrespected me in front of other people by calling me a retard to a group of people. I then felt embarrassed, right, from the situation. That is objective facts, right? Kyle called you a retard, he did it in front of some people, and you felt embarrassed. I then got angry and I clocked him. That is also objective, right? And so we're gonna write down the objective facts of what happened. The most important part is to recognize, are we talking about the emotion right now, or are we talking about the objective facts? First, we brought awareness to the emotion. Now we want to reflect on what actually happened. What triggered that emotion to come in? So what happened from the opposite party? How did I react? What did I do? And it's not about justifying it right now. It's more so just reflecting on what actually transpired in that situation. Honestly, emotions often lie to us, right? It can make us feel like our reactions to someone else's action was justified. And really, it often just escalates really minor situations into something way bigger than it needs to be. Step 3, for lack of better words, is future pacing. And what I mean by future pacing is that a lot of times we look at things as an isolated event. This person did this or said this to me, I react in this way, that's it. No, in reality, everything that we do right now and the reasons that we think the way that we do right now is based on the past, right? What happened in the past. And things are going to happen in the future is based on what's happening in the present. And so future pacing is the ability to think of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th order consequences to making sure that what we do in the present helps our future self, not diminish our chances of being able to live the type of life that we want to live or be the type of person that we want to be. So we really need to ask ourselves, right? Is what I just did, is my reaction going to serve my future self, or is it going to cause potential issues in the future? In almost every scenario, maintaining self-control is only going to lead to a positive impact on your future. Almost never have you reacted super aggressively to someone because of something that they did, even if it was justified, and that helped you, right? It's usually when you're in full control of your emotions, when you're in full control of the situation, of your actions, of your words, that you're able to have a significantly better and positive reaction that can help your future self, right? So future pacing, always be in control. You should always have full control of your monkey brain that's going to allow you to justify how the things that you're doing and the way that you're reacting to other people's actions towards you is justified. In reality, fuck everyone else. Forget about everyone else. Think about yourself for a sec. If you lose control, you inevitably will make the wrong decisions that will screw you over in the future. So why would you ever let that happen? Also, a super important thing, at least for me, is that I grew up extremely reactive, extremely emotional, and the weird part is I thought I was logical, because I would see other people and be like, that's a dumb person. They have a dumb opinion. And I would be very vocal about that. And if someone tried to challenge me or caused issues to me, and I would react in a negative way. And life beat the shit out of me because I always reacted in a negative way. And really what ended up happening is over time, when I came to this realization, I realized like, hey, I want to have good experiences with people, And most people haven't done this self-work. And even if they have, if someone lashes out at me, why would I lash out back? And there's a massive difference between being spineless and letting people disrespect you and being in full control. There are people that are disrespecting you in your life and you have a calm, collected conversation with them and they still don't change, still treat you in that way, you just cut them off. You don't need to swoop down to their level. I know it sounds like cliche, but in reality, that's what it is. I've seen so many people from all different walks of life, pretty much everyone. They could be making $100 million a year or just getting started out. They could be kids, adults. Most people have never developed the skill of just being in tune with their emotions and just staying cool. And what ended up happening is that instead of trying to prove myself right and trying to belittle others and reacting in this whole negative way, I ended up becoming much more open to other people's information because I didn't come in trying to prove myself correct. In fact, I was just really listening to what they were saying. If someone said something that I didn't agree with, or they said it in a way that I didn't agree with, a lot of times I could just take a step back and I can think, oh, well, maybe they're reacting that way, or they're saying what they're saying, or they're doing what they're doing for a different reason. It has nothing to do with me. So a lot of times when people are super rash, it's not because of you. It's just they have some shit that they haven't worked out. And so don't let their shit become your shit and have this clusterfuck of a bunch of shit that's gonna make no one succeed. So really a couple of the positive impacts I had from adding these 3 steps into my habitual way of thinking is I ended up becoming much more emotionally regulated, and it really transformed my life, right? Because having regulated emotions allowed me to connect with way more people, and I became someone that people wanted to have around instead of someone who's a nuisance or they were worried about the way that they were gonna react. And that allowed me to really make some super meaningful connections. I genuinely feel like I have the ability to do that with pretty much anyone. Because I'm not going to lash out. I'm not going to react in a negative way. If I do, I'm going to catch it extremely quickly and make sure that it's not happening on a daily basis. The second thing was transitioning from trying to prove myself correct, because I always thought I knew what I was talking about, I was super rational, to trying to really understand what the other person's perspective is. And the more I did that, the more I realized like, hey, people are not as dumb as I thought, right? Sometimes people make dumb decisions. I make dumb decisions. I see a lot of stupid shit. But a lot of times there is wisdom behind what someone says, and not just because what they say, but why they're saying it. And if you really try to understand why people are saying what they're saying, you end up learning how the human brain works at a much deeper level. And so that is an incredibly powerful skill. I mean, think about it. Everything in this world, like I'm in Dubai right now, I'm looking over the palm at lunch today, and man, it's like billions of dollars worth of infrastructure that was created in 30 years from humans? That's insane. People are going to space. We have internet, we have Wi-Fi from a couple rocks and some water. Like, that's crazy. All of that came from what? People. And so if everything we know is coming from people, isn't that a really good skill to know? How to deal with other people? It's probably like the most important skill, at least in this world, right? I'm not talking about spirituality, but just in general, in this world, what better skill than knowing how to deal with people, right? And so if we know that majority of people don't have this ability, right, to follow these 3 steps, be completely emotionally regulated, then you being able to build up that skill set will allow you to have a completely different aura, allow you to attract way more people and higher quality people, and it makes you a much more rare individual. And that's just gonna open up so many doors that you can't even perceive. And so really, if you just master these 3 steps, or at least start to apply it, right? So next time you feel some sort of spike of negative emotion, whip up your phone, you open your notes app, say, hey, I'm feeling angry right now. You reflect upon the objective facts of what happened, and then you think of, okay, did the way that I react, is it going to serve me in the future, or is it going to take away from me in the future? And if you're able to catch it before you even get into the point where you're future pacing, and let's say you wanted to say something to that person in the moment, but you take that step back, right? You don't send that angry letter, and you go through the process, right? You have awareness. I felt really angry. It's because this person said X, Y, Z to me. It made me feel this emotion, and I feel like I want to tell them X, Y, and Z. Just sit on it for a night, just sleep on it. And I'm telling you right now, 95% of the time, the next morning, you don't want to say it to the same extent. You don't want to say the exact same thing. You don't end up wanting to be as aggressive towards that person or as reactive. And you're able to really think, okay, how do I deal with the situation where, okay, do I want to keep this person in my life? Yes. Okay, well, how can I communicate to them the way that they made me feel? And if they're worth having in your life, if you communicate it in a calm way, they should respect that and try to make that change. If they don't, then you can cut them out. But there's no reason for you to go in and start meeting them at their level, because you're getting angry, but in reality, you're dropping your frequency to meet them right here, right? So why would you do that? You're better than that, right? And really applying these 3 things is gonna allow you to stop sabotaging relationships, really allow you to connect with way more people at a deeper level. And it doesn't need to be a volume game, but you just have the ability to connect with others. You're gonna have this really calming presence about you that people are just gonna open up, and it's really just going to make your life a whole lot better. And so this really helped me out. I hope this helps you out as well. We'll be making more of these videos. If you like them, drop a like, subscribe. Appreciate you. I'll see you soon.